Let's get started. All right, watch is on. Timer's going. Things are moving. I remember to turn my ceiling fan on tonight, which was a good thing. I always forget to do that for some reason. Maybe because it's always cold in this room and the last thing I want to do is put a fan on me. So some of you may be feeling from Tuesday pretty good. That's a good sign. Those files that I was able to look at, the nice thing that I think a lot of you are starting to pick up is learning how to pace yourself during efforts. And so I had a discussion or an email discussion with Rick Galmetti regarding an actual lactate threshold testing or functional threshold power test. And for us to do a real test that would be completely accurate, it would require you to do an hour-long test. That's really hard to do. So that's why in the fitness world and in the cycling world, we've decided that we have to come up with a better mechanism than requiring an athlete to do an hour test. It's hard to do. It gives you great data. So the 20-minute test gives you pretty accurate data. So you could do that on a trainer, or if you did it outside. So I went to a Chris Carmichael camp many years ago, and one of the things that they did with us was they did a 20-minute test outside. Fortunately, we were in California, in the middle of nowhere, and they literally had a strip of road that had no cars on it. We were able to do 10 minutes out and 10 minutes back. So that turned into a really great 20-minute effort. And of course, when you do a test outside, you have other elements. You have wind, rain, sun, a million different things that play into doing a test outside. So the trainer really is a great place to make that happen. It's a controlled environment. You can literally keep everything in place, and you can get some great results out of it too. So don't feel like doing a test on a trainer is kind of a cop-out. It really isn't. It's actually a very good mechanism to use. So in the future, if we ever really feel like we want to do a full 20-minute test, something that we could do.
Video.
So I'm hearing some voices. If somebody can themselves, that would be awesome. If not, I can go and mute you. I'm not sure why you were unmuted. All right. So what are we doing today? We are going to,
Sit down.
let me see who that is. You guys can keep pedaling. Ooh, just lost my fan.
You have to go back to the screen.
Pin video.
We got mute. All right, everybody is muted. All right, that was Rick. Speaking of Rick Galmetti, he was the one. All right. So what is today going to bring for you? Today we're going to do some efforts in those categories or zones that you developed on Tuesday. So you can really start to see, and we're going to play around with the heart rate a little bit too, just so you can start to see how you can control your heart rate. You are totally in control of it. So before we get started, I mentioned the fan earlier. Make sure you have your towel, full water bottle. We want to finish that bottle by the end of the night. So we're going to we're going to start off with just enough to get the legs going like we always do. Going to remind you guys what it's like to do some single leg drills. And then we're going to work through those zone sets. And I'm going to keep it. Know that you can do a zone 3 effort all day. A zone 4 effort, the bottom of zone 4 is what your lactate threshold is, or your functional threshold power, which means that whatever that number is near the bottom of zone 4, you should be able to hold that for 1 hour. Once you get to the top of zone 4 and into zone 5, those efforts start to get shorter. You just can't maintain that. Your heart can't sustain it, and your muscles can't pump out enough blood. Your heart can't pump out enough blood to feed those muscles to make them work. So that's why that higher end efforts are harder to sustain. All right, so let's get started. Small ring, 15, where we normally start. So you're going to have 3 rings underneath your chain. Let's do 30 seconds hard, 1 minute easy. 3, 2, 1. Let's just get the legs going. Keep that effort up. Before you know it, 30 seconds is done. 3, 2, 1. Nice, easy gear. Let's spin for a minute. So you'll notice, as you always do, heart rate starts to rise a little bit now. Cadence should be holding at 90. Let's do that again today. In between, try to keep those cadences kind of high in those light gears, just to keep the leg speed going. So I'm trying out today a new set of power pedals. So I've been using a power tap, which is a hub-based mechanism. Back down to that 15. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds. So a hub-based mechanism can give you a little different reading than pedals do. There's lots of pedals out there. These are an Italian-made company. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Spinning them out. So the ease of having pedals that have power in them is that you can move them from bike to bike. Not that you're going to do that. I wouldn't really advise you to really do that, just because constantly threading and unthreading and sometimes just wear on those threads a bit. So if you have a road bike, and these are specifically road pedals, they're from a company called Fervero. Asiomo is the name of the pedals. They come in one-sided and two-sided, meaning either you're getting your reading from both pedals or one pedal. Back down to that 15. 3, 2, 1. I'm not sure I really agree with one-sided pedal power output. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why are you only measuring one leg, when obviously we pedal differently? 3, 2, 1. Nice easy gear. Most people have a hard time pedaling 50% with both legs. And that's one thing that these do, which is kind of cool. It gives you your pedal balance. So as you go through a workout, it shows you if you're pedaling evenly. There's a million different reasons why you might not be pedaling evenly. Strength, injury, cleat position, seat height, seat forward, back, all kinds of stuff. All right, back down to that 15, 3, 2, 1, last time. So it seems as if so far, these pedals are measuring pretty closely to the power I would be getting for these initial efforts. Three, two, one. Nice, easy gear. We're going to just cool it down for 1 minute. And then we're going to start the next effort. So our next effort is going to be one-legged drills. Just to keep you honest. We're going to do 5 minutes worth. Actually, no, we're going to do 3 minutes worth. 4 minutes worth. 3 minutes worth. So 30 seconds on each leg. Now I'm going to put you in a gear. It's going to feel a little heavy in the front, a little light in the back. So that means you're going to be in your big ring, and you're going to be only in your 21. So remember, 28, 25, 23, 21. So go ahead, big ring, 21. You're going to pedal with right foot only, 30 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Right leg only. I got to check these pedals. They're a little too tight. 30 seconds. Remember, hook that other leg onto the back of your trainer, or you can rest your foot on the top of your trainer. Keeping your foot in the same position you would if you were pedaling with both legs. 3, 2, 1. Clipping in. Take a few pedal strokes and then clip out. Left leg only. Now really pay attention to your foot position. Don't point your toe down. Actually, it's almost impossible to pedal one-legged with your toe down. And don't push your heel down either. Both legs. Clipping in, clipping out. Right leg only. So if you notice, I'm having a hard time getting out of these pedals. So what that means is I just need to make an adjustment to the tension on the pedals. So there's a little screw in the back that allows the spring to work. Both legs. And if you have that tension, left leg only, too tight, then you're going to have a hard time getting out. 30 seconds here. Or the other thing that could happen, clipping in, both legs, clipping out. Last time on the right side. The other thing that can happen is if you have that tension screw too loose, you may try to stand up or jump or sprint, and your feet may just fly right out of the pedals. So you want to get that tension just right. Both legs. Last time on the left leg, 30 seconds. Just a quick little 3 minutes worth to kind of balance you out. Plus, I'll get to see for myself what it says when I'm only pedaling with one leg. 3, 2, 1. Both legs. Shift down a few harder gears to your small ring. Back up to that easy ring. Small ring, easiest gear in the back. All right, let's get to our first effort. So I told you we were going to go through a lot of our zones tonight. So I'm actually making this the hardest one be the first one. You're going to be fresh. You're going to have some leg speed. We're going to do a 1 minute all out effort. So remember, 1 minute doesn't sound like it's very long, but when you're doing an all out effort, it might seem longer than you want it to be. So this is all about pacing. Tonight, I'm going to give you a lot of freedom to explore. So I want you to stay in your small ring. Pick whatever gear you choose. Keep your cadence at 90. But see if you can hold your effort into zone 4 or above for that full minute. So if you start at the bottom of zone 4 and you just kind of build it, I'll give you every 15 seconds. So pick your gear, whatever you think you can hold, a 90 cadence, really go for it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 minute. Keep the effort high. Keep the cadence there. Use those abs to hold your body strong. 15 down. Hard effort. Come on now. Don't let the effort drop. 30 down. 30 to go. Stick with it. 15 left. 10. 5. 3. 2. Woo, 1. Nice. Nice job. Take a drink. Hopefully, you were able to get up into that zone 4. So what do you remember about heart rate? It's a delayed reaction. So for me, I was seeing power instantaneous. For those of you using heart rate, might have taken you 15, 20, 30 seconds to get yourself there. So that means you only did a 30-second effort in that heart rate. All right, so here's how this next one's going to go. It's a 3-minute effort. I want you to find that gear. And again, lots of freedom tonight. That holds you between 90 and 100 cadence. But I want you to be right in the bottom of your zone 4. So find that number that's near the bottom. Give yourself a range there. Use the bottom number and add about 5 beats. So you have, let's say 150 to 155. We're going to hold this for the full 3 minutes. If you're not getting to the heart rate zone you want, you might need a harder gear. And you might need to keep that cadence right between 90 and 100. So let's go. Find that gear. 3, 2, 1. We want 3 minutes. So know that you don't want to bust out of the gate and blow up before that 3 minutes is over. You want to pace this. And if you're holding your lactate threshold, which is the bottom of that zone 4, you should be able to stay here for potentially an hour. But we haven't really worked on that yet, so it might feel tough. It will feel tough even when you do it, when you get it right. Keep that cadence there. Decide after the first minute if you need to make any gear changes. 1 minute down. Be consistent. Stay relaxed. Use that metric to help you. Halfway there. Now you got to go. Stay on it. Keep your head in the game. I'll give you the last minute. One minute to go. Come on now. You did a minute previously. Should be able to hold it. Get tall in your torso. Use those abs. $30 to go. I love the concentration. $15. 10. 5. 3. 2. 1. Woo. Easy gear. Nice. Hopefully, you were able to hold that heart rate or power for that full 3 minutes. Good job. Take a drink. So it's interesting to me now, in this day of technology, if you're someone like my husband, who doesn't, I shouldn't say he doesn't own a cell phone. He owns a flip phone from AARP that he never uses. If he were to get a set of pedals like this, he wouldn't have been able to set them up because it requires you to have a smartphone to utilize their app feature. So I think he needs to get into the next century. But as he says, who's going to call me? But interestingly enough, through all the pandemic, he's been making videos. He got like a recording studio going on during his sessions. So he's definitely learning. One day, maybe I'll have to get him a smartphone for his birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, something. All right, next effort. Next effort's going to be just like the test was. But now, I want you to manipulate those heart rates as you move through the gears. So we are going to do a 5-minute effort, shifting to one harder gear each minute. And I want you to see how your heart rate changes as we move through those gears. So we're going to start somewhere again around that 21 or 19. Make sure you have at least 5 gears under your chain, or 4 gears to go to. Let's go. 1 minute. First minute, hold it at 90. Just let your heart rate do whatever it's doing right now. It might not be a super hard effort, but that's okay. I want you to visually watch the heart rate or the power increase as we move through these gears. So if your cadence is at 100 right now, that's okay. Probably when we get to the 4th shift, you might not be able to hold that any longer. So really pay attention. I also want you to pay attention to your physical breathing. How do you sound to yourself? If you had to talk to me, what would happen? Those are indicators that you can use if you don't have your watch. Shifting to one harder gear. Keeping that cadence at 90 or above. Those of you with power, you'll probably notice around a 20-watt jump. Those of you with heart rate, maybe it's starting to get 5 beats faster. Pay attention too to what your body feels like. My nephew always used to say to me, my lungs feel like they're burning. I would say, yeah, that's right. Because you're putting them through a lot of effort. So get to know what your body does as you move through these zones. Get in your belly breathing, if you can make that happen. Shifting down one harder gear. Just like we did in the test. Now you're physically getting to see how each gear changes how your body reacts. By now, you're probably creeping up into your zone 3. If not, maybe to the top of zone 3. If you're holding that cadence solid, that's what's going to happen. Next shift. This is where it starts to get a little harder. Cadence will slow. Heart rate and power will go up. 3, 2, shift again. Cadence comes down. Now, if you stayed at 90 or forced yourself to stay at 90, then you're going to get into zone 4 for sure. Keep it a solid effort. Minute and a half to go. Keeping the cadence high. Little bend in those elbows. Shoulders are down. Last shift. 3, 2, 1. Go for it here. Push yourself. See how high you can get that heart rate to go. If you get it higher than what you did on Tuesday, that's a good thing. 30 to go. Come on. Keep your head in the game. 40, 15, sorry, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Nice. Woo, nice job. Take a drink. Now this is a part of the workout on to page 2 where you're going to like me. We are literally going to sit in zone 3 for 8 minutes. 8 minutes total. But here's what we're going to do while we're in zone 3. We're going to play around with it a little bit. We're going to go to the bottom of it, to the middle of that zone, to the top of that zone. We might do a little bit of standing, just so you can see how raising your body off the bike creates a higher heart rate. Because now, just like I explained last week or Tuesday, when it comes to running, as soon as you stand up, your whole body is working. Because you now have to hold yourself up and your legs are working in a different way. So here's what we're doing. 8 minutes. As always, our constant is going to be that cadence. From the start, I want you to get within the bottom of zone 3 in that first minute. So find the gear that's going to get you there. Pick the cadence that's somewhere around 90 plus. That's going to hold you where you need to be. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. 1 minute. Dial it right in. I know for those of you working with heart rate, it might take you a full minute to get it dialed in. And then we're going to get to play around with it a little bit. So you're almost 30 seconds in. Hopefully you've dialed it in. Maybe a shift up or down. Maybe a change in cadence needs to get you there. Maybe you just need to stand up for a few pedal strokes. Now for this, you shouldn't be breathing heavy. This should actually feel pretty comfortable. 1 minute's down. Now hold that heart rate. Keep it there. Pay attention to all those metrics that help you. Staying relaxed. Keeping the cadence steady. I'm dead on to 95 cadence. It hasn't moved since I started. That's what you're looking for. Now, when we get to 2 minutes down, I want you to start slowly moving that heart rate up 3 to 5 beats. It might require just a little increase in your cadence. A shift in a gear might not do it. 3, 2, start to shift it up. Just by increasing your cadence, as you know, that'll bring that heart rate up a little. We're going to stay here for 2 solid minutes. Really concentrate on keeping it in the zone that I'm asking you. Right in the middle of zone 3. It's cool to be able to manipulate the heart rate in this manner. Focus on your breathing. You might be able to tell me 4 or 5 words. That means you're in the right place. If your legs are burning, then you might be going too hard, creating a little lactic acid. Almost coming up on 30 seconds to go in our 2 minutes. "30 seconds. Then what's going to happen next? We're going to stand up when I tell you to. You're going to shift to 2 harder gears when I count it down. So we're going to jack the heart just a tiny bit. Shifting down 2. Hands in the hoods. Standing up. Pay attention to what happens to the heart rate. If you're getting into zone 4, that's okay. Stay here for 1 more second. When you sit down, 3, 2, sit down. Either shift, maybe shift one easier. Start to see that heart rate at the top of zone 3, dabbling into zone 4. Five of 8 down. Take a drink if you feel like you need it. Remember, you're near the top of zone 3, touching slightly on zone 4. When I count you down, I want you to go to the easiest gear you have, pedaling easy. I want you to pay attention to how quickly your heart rate is dropping back down to the bottom of zone 3. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Almost as if it's a rest. Watch that heart rate drop. "15 seconds has passed. Are you to the bottom of zone 3 yet? We're going to hold this here. Once you hit the bottom of zone 3, I want you to hold that heart rate. And just hold it there till this minute is over. If you need the shift to make that happen, go for it. Almost done with that minute. Find that gear. Solidly, if you're not there, get yourself to the middle of zone 3. Again, cadence is 90 plus. Nice and solid effort here. 30 seconds to go. Stay steady. Stay controlled. Be in the moment. 10 to go. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Relax. 2 minutes easy. So you may have noticed you started really sweating during that effort. That's what zone 3 work will do. As you've heard me say, our fat burning zone. So hopefully you were able to make those gradual changes to the heart rate. And hopefully you started noticing that in that upper zone 3, touching into zone 4, that's when the effort really starts to hurt a little. But it shouldn't hurt so badly that you can't hold it there. If that's the case, then we got your zones right. Of course, lots of factors can play into today's workout. Maybe you came in a little dehydrated. Maybe you didn't sleep well last night. Maybe you got up earlier than you wanted to. Maybe you had a hard day at the office. A million things can play into it. So don't overread it, but the only thing I want you to really read is if you couldn't get your heart rate to zone 4 and the number just looked like it wasn't going anywhere for the entire time, then you need a rest day. That's what our heart tells us. If you ever see that happening on a workout, turn it into an active recovery day or turn around and go home and go to bed early that night. All right, our last effort for the night. 7 minutes long. We really want to jack up the heart rate quickly. So we are going to do 15-second bursts. Those bursts are going to be in your big ring and your 23 with 45 seconds easy. I want you, if you feel like you need a 1 or 2 harder gears, you may do that. But I want these to be all out, as hard as you can go, 15 seconds worth. And then here's the kicker. You're going to shift to an easier gear, preferably your small ring, not cross chaining, but you're holding a cadence of 100 in between. All right, so let's go. Find that big ring. 23 or 21. In your drops if you prefer. In your hoods if you prefer. The first one's going to be seated. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 15 seconds. Get to 100 plus on your cadence. Really go for it. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Down to your small ring. Stay in that same gear. Holding the 100 cadence. Fast legs. The gearing shouldn't really affect you. Don't worry about the heart rate on these. But those 15 seconds, if you're going hard, you'll see the heart rate coming up. The reason for the high cadence is we want to keep that heart rate there. Find your big ring. This one out of the saddle. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 15 seconds. Going hard. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. 100 cadence. 2 down. 7 total. Keep the legs moving. Take a drink if you need it. The next one will be seated in your drops. You should be at 100 cadence right now. Heart rate might be a little high. Big ring. Down in your drop. 3, 2, go for it. Come on. 10, 3, 2, 1. Small ring. 100 cadence. Quick transition from one to the other. Next one, in your hoods, but seated. You'll notice a difference when you're not cutting off your hip flexors. Big ring. 3, 2, going for it. 15 seconds. 10 down. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Holding that 100. Into the 4th minute. 3 more to go. Keep that cadence high. It's recovery, but it's not. That's what we're looking for. This next one, give yourself 1 or 2 harder gears. In your big ring, in your hood standing. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 5, 10 down. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Back to a gear that gets you at 100. Two more to go. Stick with me here. Notice what your heart rate's doing. That's what today's about. These last 2, you get to decide what you want to do. Seated, standing, in the hoods, in the drops. Big ring. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Come on, push it out. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Keep that cadence high. 1 more to do. Make the last one your best one. Over 100 on the cadence. And again, the last one. Whatever gear, whatever handlebar position, out of the saddle or in the saddle. You decide. Big ring. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Ten down. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Small ring. Keep the cadence at 100. We're not done yet. Last 30 seconds. Woo! If your heart rate's not up, then you didn't do it right. I think these pedals work just fine. 435 watts. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Bring the cadence down. Let your legs just spin at whatever speed they want to go. Finish up your water bottle. So I forgot to print out, but I'll use it next week. It was an article that I found that talked about how to find riding partners and keep them. So we all have our groups of people that we ride with. If you don't ride with a club, clubs are a great initiation into finding like-minded people. Most clubs have really small dues structures, and they have great events, weekly rides, and most clubs categorize their rides so you're not riding with people too slow or people too fast. So for example, Morris Area Freewheelers is one. Bicycle Touring Club of North Jersey is another one. I know there's one down south. So depending on where you live, that club can become a great avenue. I can definitely say that probably 90% of the friends that Randy and I have come from being members of the Bicycle Touring Club of North Jersey. So we've done thousands and thousands of miles with those people. I wish that over all these years, I would have kept better records of all of that. We do have one friend who has all of his log books dating back to who knows when. So it'd be cool for him to do an actual log of all the miles that he has. So the other thing to think about in this new year, set yourself a goal of miles that you might want to reach in this season. Maybe it's 2,000 miles. Maybe it's 5,000 miles. Maybe it's 10,000 miles. So that's a good way to get yourself to accomplish things. So you know that Strava and Training Peaks and Garmin Connect and Wahoo, they all give you cumulative miles for the year. So pay attention to those miles. Maybe pick one number that you want to try to reach for the season. It's always fun to do that. All right, 2 more minutes for us to cool down. Again, if you haven't finished your water bottle, get in those last couple of sips. I hope everybody was able to kind of manipulate that heart rate tonight, or power, so that you can start to notice what the body's doing when you get in certain zones. So moving forward, you will notice as I move forward, I will start referencing these zones a little more frequently than I had in the past. So now the cool part is we have another metric to work with. So that definitely makes it a lot easier to keep you in the right zone whenever we're doing an effort. If you're working too hard sometimes and we want you to be working in, let's say, zone 3, then you're defeating that purpose of what that particular exercise is trying to teach the body. 1 more minute. Good workout. I felt like I needed to get my legs going tonight, and they felt good. I think I'll keep the pedals. Have to go call Mr. Favero and tell him. If anybody's interested in the pedals, let me know. I am not being sponsored by them or anything, unfortunately. They are actually the lightest power pedals that you can buy. And the ease of putting them on is like taking pedals off. It's just so super simple. They even give you the tool to do it. So if you're looking for power, this is a good option that's under, the price range is under $700. So if you're getting a power tap or something that is crank based or based on the hub, you're going to pay $1,000 plus. So it's an option to consider. All right, guys, great job. If you want to unmute yourself, if you have anything to say.